Introduction. Welcome to Quick Start, your first blended learning lesson. There are 5 steps to this process. Step 1, select a lesson. Step 2, break the lesson up into activities, exercises, and tasks. Step 3, make your activity, exercise, and task material. Step 4, put your digital material online. Step 5, enroll students. Steps 1 to 2 will probably be fairly easy for an experienced teacher. Step 3 is an oversimplified guide with a template. Steps 1 to 3 will be covered in part 1 of this tutorial. Steps 4 and 5 will probably be the most time-consuming since they involve Moodle Cloud instructions. Steps 4 and 5 will be covered in part 2. Each part of the video is about 10 minutes long. What is blended learning? Blended learning is mixing face-to-face classroom instruction with internet tools. But just adding internet resources to your course doesn't make it a blended learning course. You have to redesign your course lesson by lesson and ask this question for each and every activity, exercise, and task. Should this be taught in person or online? A quick rule of thumb is to only use in-person meetings for participation, guidance, or student presentations. So that means anything done individually at home and outside of class could be accomplished online. Consider study to be an online activity. This video will quickly and easily walk you through the design of a lesson using beginner Japanese language learning as an example. For those of you who are language teachers, this may be a handy template, and you can just swap out the lesson content. For those of you who are not language teachers, this can serve as a versatile outline that you can modify for your own purposes. While I am not a Japanese language teacher, I am a language learner, so making this video will hopefully make me a better student. By the way, I assume you already want to try creating a blended learning course, and that is why you're watching this video. If you're still undecided and want more research, there will be a source of references at the end. But for now, let's get started. Step 1. Select a lesson. The sample lesson I will be using is Japanese verb conjugation. Since this is a quick start tutorial, select a short, easy lesson. Step 2. Break the lesson up into activities, exercises, and tasks. For the purpose of this tutorial, activities are events, exercises are focused on a single skill, and tasks are pieces of work to be completed. Here is my sample list. Number 1, lecture, which covers concept and is an activity. Number 2, drill, which is an exercise. Number 3, quiz, which is conjugating the verbs, and that's a task. Number 4, practice in pairs or group, and this is an activity. Number 5, summary, which can be an activity or a task. Looking at these 5 activities, exercises, and tasks, ask yourself the primary question: which should be accomplished in person or online? Let's look at the lecture activity. You might think that this is best done in person, but think again. If your students learn at different speeds or are in different levels, wouldn't it be more convenient for them to control the delivery? Put the lecture online as a video or voice-over slideshow and let them play it back as often as they need prior to meeting in person. By the way, students having control over their education is one of the key indicators of blended learning. Without it, you don't have blended learning. Next, let's look at the drill exercise. This is definitely best done independently, so you need not use valuable class time to drill, especially since there are so many convenient mobile applications out there such as Quizlet and Memrise. Quizlet is a free open online study resource, and any teacher or student anywhere can post material that can be used inside or outside of the classroom. In the example of our Japanese language lesson, I am using the Genki 1 textbook, and there is already so much content posted in Quizlet that follows the textbook chapter by chapter. Whatever textbook you are using may already be in Quizlet. It's worth a search at Quizlet.com. The next task is a quiz on the verbs that were introduced in the lecture and drilled in the previous exercise. Again, a quiz is an individual activity, so this is best done online. The advantages of having students take quizzes online are: 1, it can be informal and low risk so that the students feel safe to self-assess and repeat it as often as needed. Number 2, the completion of the task and its result are automatically saved to help the teacher guide students. And number 3, if completed before the class meeting, The teacher will know each student's deficiency and can work on this during class time using individual or group guidance. The practice activity is enriched because students have prepared for it in the previous 3 online activities, exercise, and tasks. Preparation also helps to enhance foreign language listening skills and reduce speaking anxiety so that students feel more confident in group participation. Online resources help to ensure that students are prepared before they attend class, and this makes class time more effective. And if students have not had a chance to complete the 3 online activities, exercise, or tasks, online access inside the classroom can be used to help them catch up to the others. Students may use personal cell phones or tablets to review the material. Now it is up to the teacher to determine the types of practice activities to use, how to break up the students, and how to guide them in group activities. This should be more effective because the teacher has seen how each student has performed online. With prior knowledge of each student's proficiency, they can be paired or grouped to complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. Be creative. The summary of the lesson could be an in-person activity or your choice of an online task. If you want to combine a summary with an informal assessment in person, you could use a discussion with a game to reinforce content. Or if you want to do this online after the meeting, schedule it first thing before the next meeting as an informal or formal assessment, that is a quiz or a test as a component of an upcoming exam. So here is the outcome of Step 2. Step 3. Make your activity, exercise, and task material. Notice from the chart in Step 2 that it is missing content from the material column. This is where the work comes in, and this is the point at which many teachers balk at redesigning lessons for blended learning. It seems like you have to create a lot of original material in digital format all by yourself. It also seems that there is more leveled material because you have to accommodate multiple student learning proficiencies. However, this is a growing standard for teaching today. Student personalization or differentiation is a requirement in many schools and classrooms now. Remember that, like most lesson plans, once you've created the material, you usually can reuse it, so the work is mostly done up front to make the teaching and grading process smoother on the back end. Fortunately, there are many shared resources that teachers can access, so they don't have to create everything from the beginning. Let's examine each activity, exercise, and task. A digital lecture. If you've taught the course before, you probably already have the lecture material. Now it's a matter of putting it into a digital format for online use. We'll get to the online platform later, but for now, focus on making a lecture that is deliverable as a slideshow or video. This video isn't intended to be an in-depth technical tutorial. There are already plenty of those online. This is a quick start introduction, so pick an application you already know. PowerPoint is usually the favorite delivery format because everyone has Microsoft Office. Your lecture may already be in the PowerPoint format. If not, then type it and break it up into slides and add voiceover. Some of you may already know how to do this. Great! If you don't know how to use PowerPoint or add voiceover, there are tutorials by Microsoft, and teachers today are helping each other out. Don't overlook the community of teachers online who have created technological support groups to assist others with blended and remote learning. Here is a link to a video about recording over an existing PowerPoint slideshow. And here is a Microsoft tutorial. Whatever your technical proficiency level is, there are tools and methods just for you. Save your narrated PowerPoint lecture. Next, find a digital drill exercise. I mentioned Quizlet.com earlier, so I'll be using that. Here is the link to one that matches my textbook lesson. Remember that Quizlet.com is free, so begin by searching Quizlet.com for your lesson content. If you create a free account, you can then customize drill sets to your specific lesson. So save the link for your drill set to use it later. This is an introduction to Quizlet.com in case you want more information. After that, create a digital quiz. If you have found a Quizlet drill for this part of your lesson, then you've probably noticed that it already has many options included, such as flashcards, tests, quizzes, and games. You can link to a quiz or test if you find it to be appropriate, or create your own in your account. The only drawback is that you won't be able to see your students' progress or results. To get that information automatically, you need to have the quiz in your learning website. We'll get to that later, but for now, save the link to a quiz so that you can use it later. Here's my quiz link. Next, create a class activity for practice. If you have taught this lesson before, you may already have a group or a class activity you use to practice your lesson concept. If not, then as a teacher, you probably already know how to create classroom practice activities. So this is a traditional learning design. After that, create the summary. Again, the summary of the lesson could be an in-person activity of your choice or an online task. Consider combining a summary with an informal assessment in class. Discussions, games, breakout groups, or reviews can all reinforce content. If you choose to do this online, make sure the students know the schedule and when it is due before the next meeting. You can make it an informal or a formal assessment, that is a quiz or a test, as a component to an upcoming exam. In this way, all the components for the exam can be viewed in advance by the students so that they have plenty of time to prepare. Here is the outcome of Step 3.